Hello, I'm Monica, and for my project, I have chosen the poem Where There's a Wall by Joy Kogwa. What intrigues me about the aspects of the poem is that it's a reflective poem, which contains a main message about life. Also, the poem's main message is extremely powerful towards me, which I can relate to very well. The use of repetition that the poet uses helps to contribute in emphasizing the poet's main theme by the effect of repeating the lines, where there's a wall, so that it is clear to understand the certain subject for the reader's understanding, and I think repetition was the best way to emphasize their ideas. I also like the use of symbolism that the author tries to use in explaining the Hell Gate and Heaven Gate. Instead of just giving direct descriptions, the poet makes it easy for the reader to interpret it themselves. I feel one of the main themes of the poem is determination. When an obstacle like a wall is placed in the way of your journey, there is always a way to surpass it if you are determined to achieve success. The path to success is always a rough road where you will come across obstacles that may result you to give up or stop. But if you really want to achieve it, you will work around the obstacle or go right through it, no problem. Like in the poem, there are many ways to get past the wall, over it, under it, through it, helicopters, bombs, etc. The author names many ways. One of the key features used by the poem is imagery, where the poem attempts to help create an image inside the reader's head. The poet uses this feature to help the reader feel closer to the text, where they can use their senses like touch, feel, or hear to know what the poem is trying to get across. The descriptive use of the words by the poet can allow the reader to see the things being described inside their head. The poem tries to create two looks on life in order to overcome an issue. Wailing prayers, birds to carry messages, open gates, clouds can help illustrate an image of heaven gates, because it's the only gate we know surrounded by clouds. The poet uses torture and an indication in the wrong direction from walking down the wrong path to illustrate an image of evil, as in the doors to hell, because we see hell as a place of torture from the evil a person has done. The poet also tries to create a use of symbolism where they attempt to indirectly describe something from a different angle. The poet's use of this can help to give more depth in their work in communicating a deeper idea. The imagery of heaven gates can help illustrate in choosing and can help symbolize in choosing a right path and believing in God during any kind of difficulty during one's life by the use of wailing prayers. The imagery of the gates of hell can also be a symbol. The gates of hell can symbolize one walking down a wrong path into the wrong direction from their misdeeds. Lastly, the poet tries to create a use of parallel structure where a new idea is introduced, seen in the first and third stanza. The first stanza creates a vision of war from the use of helicopters, rockets, and bombs, making the tone seem very evil and dark. The third stanza creates a very warm tone with the vision of freedom and being lost in the clouds. The poet's use of this technique is to keep the ideas in the stanzas equal to one another so that they flow smoothly when the reader tries to read the poem. Finally, after analyzing the poem, I kept two critical questions inside of my head. In the poem, the poet talks about both situations of heaven gates and hell gates and where an individual will end up by their actions. My first question is, does religion get to be a true factor in determining an individual's qualification in order for them to get into heaven or hell? And my second question is, the poet talks about ways to get around problems. For example, in the poem, they talk about ways to get around a wall by maybe a gate or a ladder or a door seen by the first stanza. But can one think that the poet has a personal connection to their poem where they are going around their own problems? Lastly, before ending this video, I would just quickly like to explain how the theme of determination in this poem is very effective into my life. My current career goal is to become a successful engineer, but for that I have to work extremely hard to achieve high grades for such a competitive career choice. Ever since grade 12 started, my life became a huge shift. I had to start building a bridge over all the obstacles I had to avoid. For more study time, I had to give up many of my hobbies like soccer and karate, and even hanging out with my friends on the weekends. Since the school year, I probably canceled more party plans than actually attending with my friends. Even though sometimes I want to burn my books and go have fun with my friends, I tell myself that fun can wait till after I successfully graduate with a degree. As a result, sometimes it does hurt me to think that all I do is study at home, then interact with my friends and family. I realize that it's a stage of life that I have to surpass in order to achieve the success I want to achieve. And that's the end of my video, so thank you for watching.